Now, when it comes to oven baked chicken, mine is always going to be seasoned to perfection and baked to perfection. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. Now, I got some drumsticks, and you can use whatever part of the chicken you want. But when it comes to oven baked chicken, drumstick, thighs, and wings are the best in my opinion. First thing I want to do is go ahead and clean off my drumsticks. Now, I do have my little person helping me in the kitchen today. As you can see, she's squeezing the lemons in that chicken. She got her gloves on. She is ready to help mama make dinner. I'm going to go ahead and get my lemons in there with some cool water, and then we're just going to go ahead and clean some of the icky bits off of the drumsticks. Now, if you do not like to clean your protein before you cook them, you can go ahead and skip this step. This is just my personal preference on how I like to prepare my chicken before it is time to season and cook it. So first thing I'm going to do after I let it sit in that water for a few minutes is go ahead with my knife, get underneath the skin and pull off any of the fat, the sliminess, any of the feathers that might be left on there. I also like to scrape any yellow bits off, and just when I was about to go in on cleaning that chicken, my battery died. So after I got all my chicken clean and put to the side, we're going to go ahead and start our prep. For prep, I'm going to have some bell peppers. I'm going to use yellow bell peppers, and I'm going to use red bell peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those off. After I clean it off, we're going to slice it, and I'm just going to use about half of each. So I got half, and then I sliced it going down, and then I'm going to turn it to the side and go across and slice it horizontally. I'm going to do the same thing for my red bell pepper, and then after I get everything sliced, I am going to go ahead and put it to the side. Now, usually I like to do this when I get my fresh produce, and I like to have it already in the fridge, or sometimes I put it in the freezer if I know I'm not going to be using it, so that when I am making a dish that requires it, it is already prepared for me. But I didn't get to do that this time, so now we're going to go ahead and just do that before we go ahead and start cooking. Now, before I start cooking, I like to prepare all of my ingredients before I go ahead and start with my cooking process. To me, it just makes everything go a whole lot smoother. So we're definitely going to go ahead and get this started. Now, in addition to red peppers and yellow peppers, I am going to use some onion. I'm going to use some red onion or purple onion, whichever one you prefer. You can use a yellow onion if you don't have red or purple. I didn't have any more yellow onions, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the purple onion. Went on ahead and sliced it in half after I peeled it off, and I'm just going to put half to the side for something else, and I'm going to slice up half. Before we get into slicing that onion, I did realize that I had some leftover scallions in my refrigerator, so I'm going to go ahead and use those up too as well. Went on ahead and rinsed them off, and as you can see, they look like they were on their last leg. So before they go all the way out the door, we're definitely going to go ahead and slice these up and put them in the dish as well. And I just like to go ahead and cut them on an angle, and I'm going to cut them all the way until I get down to the part right there where they have all the way down to that white base, and then we're going to go ahead and throw those tips right in the garbage. Now, I did hear that you can actually put those in water and grow your own scallions at home. I have never tried it. If y'all have tried that before, let me know in the comment section and tell me how that went. So after I got my scallions, I did go ahead and start working on that purple onion. Like I told you guys, I was going to go ahead and slice it. Now, the way to keep you from crying when you are cutting an onion is you are supposed to rinse it in cold water, and it will stop your eyes from tearing. Now, for me, that does not work. My eyes still tear when I have to go ahead and cut an onion, so I just want to go ahead and cut this onion as fast as possible, and then we're just going to go ahead and slice it. Now, you can cut it in any direction you want. You can dice it, you can slice it. You do it just the way you like to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick slice on it because I'm only using half of it, and it's not a really big onion anyway. After I get my onion sliced, I have all my ingredients prepped. It's time to go ahead and start working on our chicken. Now it's time for me to season the chicken, and while I'm seasoning the chicken, I am going to bring the oven up to temperature. So my oven is on at 350, and now we're going to go ahead and start seasoning our chicken. First thing I did was got my baking dish, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the chicken in there, and I was trying to line it up perfectly because I wanted to make sure all of the chicken was able to fit inside of the pan, because I did have a lot of pieces, and this pan is just not that big. Well, the baking dish is just not that big, so I wanted to try and make sure I got all the pieces in there. And then I do like to line up my pieces when I'm baking them. I like to have them skin side up so we can try and get that skin a little bit on the crispy side. Now, once I got all my chicken inside of my pan, it's time to go ahead and season it, and you can season it however you like. I'm just going to show you the way that I season mine. I went in with a little bit of olive oil. After I used the olive oil, I did go ahead and use some of that Badia Complete seasoning. In addition to that Badia Complete seasoning, I am going to go ahead and with some of that garlic Harlem pepper. I found it in BJ's and I absolutely love it. So if you have not tried it, I suggest you don't walk to the grocery store and go ahead and pick you up some. I am going to go ahead and add in some Italian seasoning because I don't have any fresh herbs on hand. The Italian seasoning is going to add in some of the herbs that I am not able to add in. I'm going to go ahead and add in some parsley just for a little razzle dazzle color because be fancy just like that. In addition to the parsley, I am going to go ahead and add in some smoked paprika, and just because I like the flavor that it brings to the chicken, and I also like the color that it gives, so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle in some of that. In addition to that sazon, you know I have to go ahead and add me in some onion powder and garlic powder. But before we get to the onion powder and the garlic powder, I had to go ahead and add me some Tony's. Now when it comes to Tony's, I love me some Tony's, so I went on ahead and added me in some Tony's as well. After I got everything added in, I did go ahead and mix everything together, make sure I got all my seasonings incorporated. And at this time, this is where you evaluate your chicken. Does it look seasoned? Is it smell seasoned? Because we cannot taste it, we have to use our eyes and we have to use our nose. If it's not seasoned to your liking, then go ahead and add some more seasoning. If it's seasoned to your liking, then you're going to go ahead and add you in them peppers that we cut up, our yellow peppers and our red bell peppers. Then we're going to go ahead and add in some of those scallions that we have. And if you do have fresh garlic, you can go ahead and add some fresh garlic in there as well. I didn't have any fresh garlic, so I didn't add any in there, but I did have some garlic and I had some powdered garlic, so I used that. Now we're going to go ahead and add in those onions, and I'm just going to put everything right on top. After I get all of my veggies in there, I am going to add in just a little bit of water at the bottom. You do not have to add in too much water because the chicken is going to make its own juice. If you have stock, you can use stock instead of water, but I'm going to add in a little bit of water. But before I add in a little bit of water, I am going to go in with some of this Beratelli olive oil cooking spray. I'm just going to go ahead and spray the top of it because I want to try and make sure I'm getting that skin nice and crispy. In my opinion, it is the same thing as if I was to go ahead and put some butter on top before putting it in the oven. After my chicken was done, it looked just like this. Everything was smelling. Now I did go ahead and take some of the natural juices that the chicken made, went on ahead and poured a little bit right on top. Now for side orders, this will pair so good with anything that you make. If you want to make some mashed potatoes, if you want to make a little bit of rice, whatever side orders you want to make, this is going to pair beautifully with it. For me, I just went on ahead and steamed some rice. We made some spinach with a little bit of veggies in there, some of those onions and peppers that we had left over, season it with a little bit of complete seasoning, and it was time to go ahead and plate because dinner was ready. As you can see, that chicken is so soft and juicy. Like I could just go ahead and rip it apart with a spoon. I didn't even need a fork. I'm going ahead and using a spoon. And it was time to go ahead and start plating, and this is how everything came out. Got my rice, my spinach, my oven baked chicken, put a little parsley on there for a little bit of razzle dazzle, a little fanciness, and dinner was served.